Two teams that rock the black and gold tip it off here in Columbia, Missouri. The Tigers looking to try to get back in the win column after a tight loss, a game they let slip through the cracks in South Bend in the midweek matchup a week ago. And then the Sunday 20-point loss, 80-60 against Kansas. They have rattled off 7 straight wins at home, and they're still unbeaten in this gym this year. Anthony Robinson, the second, his first attempt off the mark. He's been struggling offensively over the last few weeks as Jacob Cruz is able to draw a foul. And you look at this starting 5 for Dennis Gates today. Javon Porter's been battling some illness. He's missed a little practice. It sounds like he's available, but not starting today. And Jacob Cruz makes his first start since March 8th of 2024. Fittingly, he was with UT Martin that day, and UT Martin was Alabama State's last opponent over the weekend on Sunday.
Well, the way that Coach Gates switches up the starting lineup so often just really allows guys to be ready when their number is called. Jacob Cruz plays starter minutes anyway, so he'll be ready to go.
On the Alabama State side of things, they have lost 3 straight after a 3-3 start. 9th road game in their first 10, and they will play 14 of their first 15 away from Montgomery, Alabama. Just a ridiculous stretch before they're back at home finally in their 3rd SWAC game in January versus Jackson State. Mitchell has really been the force to be reckoned with offensively on a team that's struggled to find some balance in the scoring department. Cruz lets it fly and connects on his first look. That's why he's in there starting. Firepower, usually coming off the bench, but now amongst that starting 5.
Coach Gates said at the beginning of the season he wants to see Jacob Cruz set some sort of record here at Missouri from the 3-point line, and he's just having an incredible season so far.
Mikey Simpson, one of those 2 guards we highlighted in the open. Second on the team, scoring 17 points a contest. Anderson drills the 3 in response. He leads the squad about 18 points a game, 4th in the SWAC, the senior from Tacoma, who came over from Queens, who's played at Charlotte last year. And Robinson's forcing the issue here early offensively. A guy who's scoring under 5 points a game over his last 4. Who's looking for a second and gets it. What a start.
Cruz has the ultimate green light from Coach Gates. The Hornets are going to have to make sure they know where he's at all times. He doesn't need any time and not much space.
If you compare his season this season through 10 games versus last year, made 21 more triples this year through his first 10 contests. And a quick 2 here, no backcourt, that was deflected. This is exactly what Mizzou wants to see after shooting 26%, 7 of 27 from 3 against the Jayhawks. Alessi gets to the elbow, and he hits the jumper, quietly having a very strong stretch, shooting 50% for deep over his last 6 games. The look ahead, and that's just easy for Sean Phillips Jr., the 7-footer.
Thanks to Anthony Robinson and that great court vision. He's done an incredible job this year of distributing the ball and leading his team from a point guard standpoint. Coach Gates just looking for him to pick it up offensively a little bit.
So look where the scoring is coming from. First 10 points, Mark Mitchell hasn't featured yet. A lot from Cruz. Phillips getting involved. Anderson gets doubled. Deep 3 from Simpson, the high archer. Off the mark, but it stays here. Second try at it, and Anderson hits his second 3 already.
I wouldn't be surprised if we see quite a lot of that tonight with some quick double teams on Anderson, maybe collapsing on the ball after those picks, which is going to create a lot of open shots for teammates.
Alabama State had the lead by 5 at UT Martin on Sunday. Let that game slip away. They've had the lead at half, at least their last 2 games. Actually led New Mexico in the pit by 15 before letting that one fall into the loss column, and a strong take inside from Anthony Robinson.
Anthony Robinson already looking real aggressive from an offensive standpoint this game. I know Coach Gates has been empowering him to continue to take those shots, drive hard to the basket.
You can tell he is a man possessed right now. He's really looking to create his own look. Anderson knifing all the way in, the tough floater, and he scoops it up and in. He's got an early 8 points already. Hot start for both teams offensively. Mizzou 71%, 5 of their first 7 on this end. Mitchell gives it up though, tough interior pass. Alessi the other way from the free throw line. He was halfway down and out, and a foul on the rebound attempt against Arshawn King. 12-10 frenetic pace. Both these teams love to get up and down the floor and let it fly from distance. Mizzou team that already has a couple of threes coming from that man, Jacob Cruz. His first start since March of 2024. Both two guys very familiar with each other. Dennis Gates, the emphasis for him and this team this week, it sounds like, is really getting to the free throw line. He really wants this team to form an identity of consistently making more free throws than the other team attempts. And he wants guys like Anthony Robinson to not only get to the line more, but make more free throws. Just 11 of 21 from the charity stripe on Sunday.
Max, with free throws, I'm thinking it's with the 20-point loss, you can't blame the game on missed free throws, but it really does help with momentum, and it really does help with your team's confidence if you can shrink that lead to single digits or less than 15, and free throws have a lot to do with that.
He was looking for a third. His first miss. Free throw line might have been the difference in South Bend earlier in the week, though. That was a very tight one. Mizzou hit their last 3 shots before that Cruz miss. And Anderson checks it away. Difficult pass for Aquarius Standback to deal with. That's only the first turnover, though, in 5 minutes of change for Alabama State. A team that comes in averaging just over 13 a game. They've been playing some games, though, that Coach Madlock really feels like they should have won. The game versus New Mexico, and then versus UT Martin. There's a good look inside for Luke Northweather with a soft touch. He shoots it a lot from the perimeter. We don't see him do a ton of work for his size in the paint.
Luke Northweather has come in. This is his first year at Missouri. He just provides a lot of different things for the Tigers. He'll come in, knock down some threes, provide some rim protection as well, and you can see there can make it happen on the inside.
He's a 50% shooter from distance, 12 of 24. There's the athleticism of Aquarius Standback. They start 2 redshirt freshmen, and Standback had 2 emphatic dunks that were otherworldly last game, as Cruz just simply is on fire. He's got 9 points in less than 6 minutes on 3 triples.
Yeah, he's in his zone, and all 3 made triples have been pretty well defended. So the Hornets just got to really keep hip to hip on him and not even let him catch when possible.
Alabama State outshot UT Martin from the field, from deep, from the free throw line. Biggest difference for them on Sunday was they got out-rebounded by 12, and that entire margin came on the offensive glass. So they've got to be stronger against a bigger team on the road here in Columbia.
Jacob Cruz just steps right in. That is too much time, too much space. Hornets got to know where he's at. Just such a beautiful stroke there. Comes automatic. Experienced player, just too easy.
Cruz had 22. That was a season best last week against Notre Dame. Anderson pulls up from way downtown off the heel. And he's tipped out last off of Aquarius Standback. There's the size again. But Cruz over his last 3 games averaging just shy of 18 points a contest. His 3rd in the conference. Shooting it so efficient from deep, even though that number's actually slipped a little bit over the last few weeks.
It has. I was getting ready to say he was north of that by a few points not too long ago.
Mitchell with the pirouette and puts it in with the foul.
Mark Mitchell, once he gets going, he gets going. He is such a strong player. I know Coach Gates and the Tigers want to get him as many ball touches as possible. We talked to Coach Matlock, and he said, it's hard to know what to do with him, whether you double, whether you just play good, hard one-on-one defense. But you see right there, it's just so hard to defend him once he gets going downhill like that. Takes 1 dribble, nice spin to the basket. It's really hard to defend.
Mark Mitchell about 18.5 points a game this year. And he gets to the free throw line. That is attempt number 85, 5th in the entire country. And a great sign of respect as he hits the bench, coming from Tony Matlock earlier when we asked him, hey, how are you going to defend Mark Mitchell? And he said, hey, I don't know. Who knows?
Still figuring that out.
We're all just figuring that out as we go. But the expectation was coming into today with what Mitchell's been able to do and with what maybe the rest of the offense hasn't been able to muster up over the last couple games, that Mitchell could draw a ton of doubles, maybe even triple teams in the mind of Dennis Gates today, and they're going to need some other guys to step up, and they've certainly seen that so far to this point. 6-0 run again. Mizzou is on a stretch where they've made their last 3 shots. Foul down low goes against Phillips. That'll be his first.
Going back to Mark Mitchell, Coach Gates also made a point that, especially with Jaden Stone being out injured right now, teams are really able to kind of pack it in or, put a lot more attention on Mark Mitchell, and other guys are going to have to step up. He does so much for the Tigers, and Jaden Stone was so productive before he got injured. Tigers are just going to have to make sure that offensive production stays where it's at, even if they're packing it in and making it hard for Mitchell.
They're hoping that Stone can get back in time when they get to that Florida game in conference play. Anderson misses, but it'll stay right here. There's key injuries for both these teams. I mean, Trent Pierce, we haven't seen feature yet this season. And Alabama State, on paper, they lost 4 starters. They lost 8 of their top 9 guys in the mind of Tony Madlock from last year, but they returned 1 starter. We haven't seen Stephen Walker yet this season. They're hoping to get him back about mid-January, maybe eyeing that Jackson State matchup. It sounds
called
like.
on the floor has been challenged by Missouri.
So an early first-half challenge coming from Dennis Gates. Let's see how this one goes. But so far, I mean, in Coach Gates' mind, this is exactly what they want to see. Offensively, shooting 73% from the field to take our first look at this out-of-bounds film.
Looks like it's a hard angle. Definitely think most players made some contact there, but from this perspective here, it looks like the last touch may have went off Alabama State.
I think this gets Tyler Mason's left hand. It finishes coming off his maybe middle finger at the end there.
The previous challenge has been successful. No timeout will be charged. Missouri has 1 challenge remaining.
Here they hear the announcement from Olandish Pool, the crew chief today, Vladimir Voyard Tadao and A.J. Desai, the other 2 officials tonight. And we've seen with challenges this year, the bar you have to eclipse to overturn a call is quite high, but that one was obvious enough to change it.
You've got to have that overruling evidence there, and oftentimes it's hard to tell. It's an early challenge for sure, but clearly Coach Gates and that Missouri Tigers team is very confident in that one.
T.O. Barrett in the game. He's at a season high in minutes in back-to-back outings, 23 versus the Irish and 27 versus the Jayhawks. It's Alabama State Hornets team. They'll bury the looks. Man, in the zone. It's a zone right now. And it leads to a Cruz open 3 from the corner. Hits another!
That's exactly what you got to do in that zone. Just find the soft spots, the sweet spots, as T.O. Barrett did right there. Finds the open man and Jacob Cruz across the court. Great execution.
His ability as a grad student, he's so heady and intelligent to move when he doesn't have the ball and he's on the weak side and get open like he just did. Sebastian Mack will check in for the first time. Another 50-50 type of call underneath the hoop and went against the Tigers.
Tigers playing some really good defense to start. Really good on-ball defense, getting through screens pretty well. They've had some good double teams, just making it hard for the Hornets to get a good shot or allow them to catch that flow.
Anderson off the screen. What a rebound that was to bring it down. Couldn't corral it, but Sean Phillips Jr. as athletic as 7-footer as you're going to find. T.O. Barrett. They go to the big man down low on the other end, and Phillips is 2 for 2 to start his night.
That was a really good 3-man game right there that started with T.O. Barrett and Phillips with that high screen right over half court. Allowed them to get some movement there, inside-out basketball.
Mizzou has had some amazing starts at home so far this year. You think of the last time they played at home 2 weeks ago today, 23-0 it was against Cleveland State. Tyler Bird stepped on the sideline. That'll be a turnover. It's an 11-0 run for the Tigers, who have made their last 5 shots. They lead by 13. And Jacob Cruz, who's hit 12 threes in his last 3 games, already has 4 tonight.
Yeah, the Tigers shooting 77% from the field right now, in large part due to Jacob Cruz. Finding these threes from all over the court in all different ways, coming off screens, in transition, finding the open places in the zone. He is just in an absolute zone right now. His teammates are doing an incredible job of finding him. You can tell that they're making an intentional effort to find where he's open, and he's getting himself open. He's such a veteran player, such a smart player. You know, he's got the acumen to figure out where to find his spots on the court, and his teammates, again, doing a great job of finding him.
Jordan, what's the answer for the defense? Because man-to-man wasn't working, and they went to the zone, and Cruz got a wide open look.
Yeah, I mean, I think for one, on screens, you've got to consider, you got to go over every time, or a hard switch so you can get a quick hand in the face on him. You just got to stay with him, or don't let him catch. If you can't get over those screens, and then again, when you're in that zone, you've just got to know where he's at all times. Consider keeping someone close to him, not helping on the weak side. Those are things that I would try to avoid if I were the Hornets.
Maybe the best defensive possession of the night for Alabama State. T.O. Barrett, that's contested. Too strong. Northweather cleans it up, though. And that's a really tough defensive possession for Alabama State. So strong and stout for 29 seconds, and then you give up the second chance bucket.
It is, and that's something that Coach Matlock talked to us about, that there was a bit of a concern for him was their ability to rebound tonight, being a little bit undersized, and that's been, you know, kind of a weak spot for them in some losses is the rebounding.
Tyler Bird is shooting 75% over his last 2 games. He led the team with 15 points in the loss versus UT Martin. Scoops it up. Not too close. Good job of getting all the way in there, but high level of difficulty shot. Barrett surging all the way in. Bounce pass. Mitchell gets his man in the air and finishes strong.
Way to keep at it for Mark Mitchell, attacking the glass strong, bringing it down, keeping it high, keeping those elbows out, doing what he does best.
What a stretch for Mizzou. It is 15-0 over the last 4 minutes and 23 seconds. And when Mitchell gets this type of positioning, he's always going to power it up and down.
Sure is, and that starts with T.O. Barrett. He does, especially as of late, does a really good job of making the right play. When T.O. Barrett has the ball, he doesn't do too much. He finds the open man. You know, he's keeping those turnovers relatively at a minimum. So that starts with him. For such a young player who played such limited minutes last year, T.O. Barrett has really been able to come in and just show and exude so much confidence in the way that he takes care of the ball and finds the open man.
We've heard Coach Gates talk about wanting to see a similar progression from T.O. Barrett to what he saw from Anthony Robinson a year ago when he was in his sophomore campaign. And quietly, T.O. Barrett, 7 assists over the last 2 games. That's his best 2-game stretch in dish and dime so far this year. And already tonight, 2 assists in just 5 minutes. No turnovers, like you mentioned. Controlling the ball and proving to be a solid facilitator, too.
Absolutely. You know, he's got 36 shot attempts on the year. That's not nothing, and he's shooting it at 67%. So, again, just goes to show that he typically makes the right play.
0 of 1 from the floor offensively tonight, but that one shot came right at the shot clock corner. It was a forced look at that. He's taking very high percentage looks. Micah Simpson has not scored yet today. Marion Yates, the Memphis transfer, he cans a triple. That's his first look of the day and the first bench points for Alabama State as they finally halt that 15-0 run.
Both of these teams, you know, have got a roster that play a lot of minutes. Both of these teams have 10 players that play at least 10 minutes. Missouri's got 10 players that play 15 minutes. So it gives them both the ability to play fast and get up and down the court.
Tyler Bird draws the foul and will head to the free throw line as after the turnover against Sebastian Mack. We'll see if he is the sub coming out as Anthony Robinson is at the scorer's table. Tyler Bird shooting 76.5% from the free throw line. Has really picked it up offensively. And I'll be Jacob Cruz that hits the bench instead. Cruz has been just unbelievably efficient from deep tonight. 4 of 5 already. That swirls out on Bird. The team shoots just 68%. Both these teams really struggle in that department so far this season. Robinson trying to get downhill. Back out for a Mac 3. Got it around and controlled by Simpson. He was the first guard off the bench last year, playing behind 2 all-SWAC guards. And boy, in the rhythm, connects on his first field goal.
Both of these teams just taking these shots with such confidence. In the face of Mark Mitchell, undersized against the defense. Great shot there by Simpson.
He's 5th in the SWAC in scoring. He's a guy they need to get going, and maybe that'll ignite some fire underneath him. Bird came down with the hands and picks up the foul. Is Robinson, who's already got 4 points, first trip to the free throw line. That's what Dennis Gates wants to see more of. Not only getting there, but making them more consistently, because he is just a little over 68% this year.
Yeah, and much more capable of shooting a better percentage for sure. And Anthony Robinson also often finds himself getting going from getting to the free throw line. So he's just got to keep attacking, get himself to the free throw line, and that's when he really starts to get hot.
Phillips comes in for Javon Porter. Porter played just about a minute after he checked in, dealing with some illness over the last few days. Seems to be going around a lot, right?
That time of year.
Saw Derek Peterson, one of the best scorers in the country, returned to Kansas on Sunday. He went out there and had a great performance, put up 17. It's tough timing for Mizzou to get matched up against KU right as they got one of the best players in the country back. That could be a top 3 draft pick in the upcoming NBA draft. Kind of didn't like that call, but it goes against T.O. Barrett. That'll be his first. It's only the team's 3rd foul of this first half.
Both teams doing a good job of not fouling too much, but anytime you got a situation like this where you're swiping down, it does look like you got a lot of that ball, but you've got to be careful if you're coming from behind like that and swatting down with that motion.
Gaines hits the first. That's only his 7th free throw attempt of the season. He's only scored about 3 points a game over his last 5. Minutes have been down the last few weeks for the Memphis transfer, whose head coach has some ties with the Tigers. He was an assistant under Penny Hardaway, also played there, was part of that 1992 Memphis squad that made it to the Elite Eight. 10-point game, even though Mizzou is still shooting above 70% from the floor. It's 7 of their last 9. Phillips has position. And a great pass from the big man.
Beautiful court vision by the big man, Sean Phillips, and a good job of Sebastian Mack finding that open space in the baseline there. Just a quick cut to the basket. Great ball movement.
Tyler Bird in rhythm. He gets his first 3. Bird up to 4 points. He's 4 of his last 5 now from the perimeter. Phillips working so hard. Mario Andrews doing an admirable job, even though he's at a big size disadvantage down low. And great outside defense from Bird to knock it away. Tyler Bird all alone, a ton of airspace. Couldn't hit the 3. Mitchell hits the deck, but keeps it alive for the folks in white. Barrett all the way in. They did not stop the ball, and Barrett took advantage.
Yeah, the Hornets had the numerical advantage there back on defense. They've got to stop that ball quite a bit earlier. But again, great job, T.O. Barrett, recognizing he had the advantage there to continue to go downhill.
Michael Simpson will pull back the reins a bit. Been a little turnover prone over the last few games, but he can score at will. Too strong off the glass this time. Again, looking to get out and run in transition as Mack draws the foul. Mario Andrews picks it up. That's his first, and free throws when we come back. Team that, despite the record, 3-6, having dropped 3 in a row, they're really building the team chemistry. And maybe it starts off the floor when you're playing 14 of your first 15 games away from home. Done plane rides together, long bus rides together. And they're really growing because it's a group that only brought back 7 guys, 8 new players on the roster. And they're finding their identity more, and I'm sure once they get healthier and Stephen Walker joins the fray again. This team picked 4th in the preseason poll in the SWAC. It's actually the 2nd of 3 SWAC teams, including 2 this week that Mizzou will face. But they'll be a force once we get to January.
And not to mention, they're starting 2 redshirt freshmen right now, so they've got a really bright future.
Quick spin and an elbow to the face as Mack blocked Michael Simpson. And I think Simpson is hoping that goatee maybe cushioned a little bit of the contact. Not sure that's how it works, though.
Yeah, good quick move to the basket. Definitely incidental there, but nevertheless, still a little bit too much contact above the shoulders.
Incidental. That hurts nevertheless.
Oh, absolutely.
Wide open look from deep. Kept alive by Standback. Stripped away, fumbled it, regathers. Good contest there from Phillips. Alessi gets the friendly roll.
A little mid-range jump shot there to keep the Hornets within striking distance. You would think the way the Tigers have shot it, still shooting north of 75% from the field, you would think this would be more than a 10-point game, but the Hornets are doing a really good job of getting timely stops and timely buckets.
Alessi is a guy that Coach Madlock wants to see be more aggressive. Great pass inside. Honor Boateng with the bucket off the feet from Sebastian Mack.
watch entire Missouri teams acting like point guards out there, just finding the open man. Really good back cuts to the basket, really good down screens, back screens, and finding the open man, executing really, really well from an offensive perspective.
It's all around the perimeter. This possession for the Hornets. And a giveaway. Mack with the theft and stripped on the other end. Great job retreating back from Ajon Anderson after he turned it over.
Incredible hustle by Anderson. Mack took off full steam ahead. Really good steal there, and you could tell this looked like a wide open dunk to me until Anderson really busted his butt to get back. Really good defensive effort. Makes a really big difference. That could have been a momentum play for the Tigers.
Maybe it's the size or the hair or the headband or just because he's just a pest out there, and I mean that in the most positive way, but he just reminds me of Jose Alvarado. That felt like a very Jose Alvarado play.
It did, and now that you said that at the beginning of the broadcast, Max, I can't unsee it.
Just got that look and that demeanor and mentality out there on the floor. Anthony Robinson isolated. Right at Anderson and tries to foul.
I love to see it. I love seeing the smaller guys down there battling in the paint like that. It's a really good matchup between Robinson and Anderson. Very similar speeds, very similar sizes. Both very aggressive. They like to attack the basket. Love to see them battling down there.
Two great guards. And for Robinson, who's sitting on 6 points, he has had 6 or fewer in 4 straight games, shooting just 25% from the floor over that stretch. Here's next week's SEC Network featured basketball games. Wednesday night, Thomas Houken, number 18, Florida on the men's side, hosts St. Francis at 6:30 Eastern. And Madison Booker leads number 2, Texas. And the ladies against Northwestern State. Both are also available on the ESPN app. Robinson, even though he missed that free throw, has really done most of what is asked of him so far in terms of being more aggressive, getting to the hoop, getting those shots up. Is Palesi. He had a season-high 12 against Colorado, and he is a minutes machine these days. 32-plus in 6 straight. Does a lot of the little things for this team and does them so well. Mack in the corner, splash.
There's some really good ball movement there by Missouri. They've shown that all night. Just good swing, swing, swing. And that's something that Coach Gates talked about earlier with his media availability this week, is that, especially against Kansas, he called it analytically frozen. His team was acting analytically frozen, and by that he meant that they were doing too much analyzing, just kind of looking around and trying to foresee the next play or the next step in the play. But tonight they've done a really good job of just letting that offense flow.
Paralysis by analysis as Ajon Anderson will go back to the free throw line. A lot of their offense goes through Ajon, who's got 8 points and a chance to already get into double figures for a man who is 19 of his last 20 from the free throw line over the last 2 weeks. When he gets there, he rarely misses. Got a team that struggles in this facet. It's great when the Hornets can get him to this spot on the floor.
As a defender,
there's the announcer jinx. Early and potentially often, you never know.
Yeah, there you go. I mean, he's a player, Max, that is really hard to stay in front of. He's super shifty, super quick. He knows where the defense and how they're positioned, how their feet are. You can just tell he does a really good job of trying to step over. You know, when a defensive player doesn't have their feet set right, he does a really good job of reading the defense.
Mizzou is 16 of 21 from the floor, 76%. 5 of 8 from deep so far. Robinson lobs it over the top. Mitchell couldn't finish the flush, but man who makes a living at the free throw line, right back to it.
Sure does, and he almost put that down over 2 defenders. Again, Tio Barrett just finding his open teammates here. Really good job of kind of rolling to the basket there. Almost got it over 2 defenders. Mark Mitchell just has that size and strength advantage. Again, really good job of the Tigers just playing out of these 2-man games or 3-man games with the give and goes, really good screens and rolls to the basket. Their offense just looks so much smoother. It's flowing much better than it has the last couple games.
That's a tough angle to catch a lob and try to turn back over your shoulder and dunk it home. Mizzou offense that's scoring over 87 points a game, but held to just 60 on Sunday and 21 in South Bend in the loss versus Notre Dame. They've got Alabama State here tonight, and then Bethune-Cookman over the weekend before another really tough game that on paper is on a neutral court. It's very much a Kansas home game in KC on Sunday. There's a very good Illinois team that's not too far off in the distance on December 22nd. Alessi with a quick spin, gets to the elbow. That's a contested two. Man, really creates his shot well, though, even though that was a difficult look. Lead up to 15. It's been as high as 17. Barrett has Yates on him. Lost the ball, but it ends up with Northweather. Shot clock is down to 7. Anthony Robinson all the way in. A little short on the dunk, though, and hopefully he's okay. Trying to jam it with the left hand. Got contested by Standback, who came over in a hurry. Took a hard spill, but popped right back up. The lead 15 for the Tigers. Just over 3 to go in the first half. Well, I see come up to you and say hi and welcome you back home. You know how small the world of basketball is.
Very small.
It's a tight-knit bunch. Anthony Robinson with the deep 3. Barrett kept it alive for a second, but it goes the other way.
Tigers have had this kind of soft press going in the second half of this first half, and the Hornets done a really good job of being able to break it. They've gotten a couple open shots out of it, but the Tigers, again, doing a good job of not fouling and just kind of making the Hornets' offensive flow not so easy for them to get easy buckets in transition.
Kind bounce off the rim for Darian Yates. Darian Yates, who hits his second 3. Mitchell hits another and one. That's his second. Just powers it after the contact.
Brute strength once again. I mean, that was honestly really good defense there by Yates. Not much you can do there. And Mark Mitchell does such a good job. He catches pretty far outside of the paint and just does such a good job of backing those defenders down, taking his time. He has great poise, finding the angles, and finishing over 2 defenders yet again.
2 good athletes. Yates and Mitchell going at it. Mitchell with a couple inches on him in the height department, 6'9" versus 6'7". But Yates had his foot on the baseline, and chance for a big possession here for Mizzou. I mean, Mitchell's just so tough to guard, especially in the open floor, and he catches it that far out and is able to turn and face because he can drive on anybody.
Absolutely. He may not be a jump shooter, but he's not necessarily a back-to-the-basket post player either.
He can do that, too. Drops the 2-handed hammer. 16-point lead, and we've seen so many beautifully designed out-of-bounds plays underneath the hoop for Dennis Gates this year. Looked like Anthony Robinson might have been open for a layup initially. Theo Barrett was patient, and it led to a wide-open dunk instead. And a poor giveaway. Robinson in the open floor, all fancy with the handles. Theo Barrett with the reverse. Oh, pretty basketball from the Tigers.
Very pretty basketball. Anthony Robinson with those ball skills there. Almost lost it, but got it back. And Theo Barrett said, hey, I've got to continue with the fanciness here. Really good execution, transition play by the Tigers.
Coach Gates was very vocal from the sideline there, yelling at Jacob Cruz to get back and pick up his man. He was as animated as we've seen Coach Gates all game long. Anderson going one-on-one versus Robinson. It's been a problem for Robinson over the last 4 games. He's picked up at least 4 fouls and each fouled out against Notre Dame. But offensive, just production all over the place.
Started with that baseline out of bounds play there, and then a steal. Anthony Robinson quick behind the back to keep the ball with him, and Theo Barrett with the up and under little scoop there on the baseline. Yeah, and had to give him the look there afterwards.
I love that they kept that facial expression in that replay. Theo Barrett feeling himself. As Anderson has now missed 2 free throws, which is a rarity. A guy who had a season best. He picked up 30 in that loss at New Mexico, including 6 threes.
Anderson, very much so a volume shooter, and it benefits this Hornets team with the offensive production that they lost last year. You know, Anderson's only shooting about 29% from outside of the arc. He's had a pretty good three-point shooting night here so far, but again, he's a volume shooter, so he's going to have a little bit of streakiness, but he is going to find his shots and he's going to knock him down.
He has attempted at least 12 field goals in every single game this year. Cruz still leading the way with 12. We haven't heard from him in a little bit. 4-3 so far, and gives it away, just ripped out of his hands by Tyler Bird. Bird trying to go coast to coast. Good kick into the corner. Anderson hits the three as he hits the deck.
Hornets find a lot of success in transition, getting up and down the court like that. That was incredible court vision, able to wrap it around and get it to Anderson in the deep corner there.
What a beautiful find from Bird, who looked like he was about to try to shoot it up and over. With 6'11" and very lanky Luke Northweather made the right decision instead. Mitchell going to his strong side this time and converts yet again. He's got a game-high 13.
So what makes him so hard to guard, if you notice that crossover he just did there, was quick. It was quick and it was low. It was like a guard. Like I said before, he's not necessarily a jump shooter, but he's far from back to the basket, which makes him so hard to guard. He's very multidimensional.
He's 2 of 13 from deep this year, but almost all of his shots coming at the rim here tonight. Tyler Mason lines it up and hits the three. Tyler Mason, that is only his 3rd three in just 4 attempts this year.
75%. May need to shoot a couple more.
Yeah, that'll play. If they go to him, maybe a little bit more. Both teams shooting it quite well from deep and from the floor tonight. Northweather, it's down to 1. Robinson, good if it goes. It's a rounded out, but what a productive opening 20 minutes on this Missouri offense, coming off a season-low 34% shooting against Kansas. They shoot it 71% in the opening half. Here's a look at the stark contrast. 52 points to go with it. They're pretty much having their way so far with this Alabama State defense. 20 of 28 from the floor in the opening 20 minutes. Starters back out there on the floor for both teams. And it's not like Alabama State was too inefficient. In fact, they were exactly 50% from the floor. 8 of 14, shooting 57% from deep. They move it around so nicely. Palesi off the heel, and Phillips controls. Getting a lot of looks that they want. They made a lot of it, too. Just having a world of trouble getting stops on this end. Phillips and King really banging bodies down low. Mitchell gets a paint touch. Empty on the layup though. And that's off of Phillips. I think Mitchell thought that shot was going to be a little bit more difficult than it was.
It's a good defensive stand there by the Hornets. I thought Jacob Cruz may have had a shot early in the shot clock, but again, just a veteran player, very coachable guy, wanted to get the great shot, not the good shot.
Simpson only 3 points in that first half. Averages about 17 a game. Top 5 in the conference. Anderson trying to create space, but having trouble. Palesi gonna have to hang and hit. He is off the mark. Great defense out of the break here, really for both teams. Mitchell driving all the way in. Phillips had his man steal. Oh, rejected by Jaquarius Stanback.
Stanback had to get off the floor for that one.
Anderson, no. Phillips got stripped on the way down. And it will go the other way. Here's that raw athleticism we've talked about from Stanback.
Really good effort here by both teams to keep at it. But again, like you said, Max, the athleticism of Stanback. We haven't seen a ton of it this game, but man, he has shown some incredible ability this season with his athleticism, ability to get up in the air.
He's top 20 in the country in blocks and first in the SWAC and blocks per game. He had 4 for UT Martin last time out. Foul down low. Goes against him here. He had 2 of the best dunks you'll see from any one individual in a same game on Sunday, too. And it sounded like Tony Matlock was having a lot of fun with the staff and players calling that a Dr. J dunk. He called it really a couple of throwback, old school Just hanging from quite a ways away from the hoop. Take it off. Flying through the air. Phillips just bully ball down low.
Really good touch there by Phillips. I thought Stanbeck may have had another block opportunity there, but really good job of Sean Phillips going straight up and down, not fading away from the basket. Really good touch.
More paint points for the Tigers. And they are pounding Alabama State. Out towards half court, really extending this defense. It's Boateng on Simpson here. Anderson from the logo pulls up and got it.
That was a deep one there. Anderson starting the second half off similar to how we started the game off. Tigers playing good defense, forcing the Hornets into some forced shots and mid-range shots, but they've knocked down quite a few.
Phillips with the moving screen. Ajon Anderson up to 16 points, 4 threes. He can pull it up just like this from anywhere on the floor.
Yeah, Tigers kind of forced them into a late shot clock. Deep three there, but I mean, Anderson has had a really good night tonight, especially from beyond the arc. Can hit that anytime.
They're still hanging around. Both teams shooting over 50% for 3. Anderson all the way in. Picked it out, but a foot on the baseline again.
And that's the Tigers just forcing Alabama State to catch it in not ideal situations, either really backed up against the sideline or deep in that corner there. They're just all over them on defense, both on and off the ball.
Robinson doing it himself. Oh, nice job of putting his body in the air to finish.
That craftiness there, athleticism, pretty good job staying in front of the ball from Anderson's part, but again, Anthony Robinson just able to hang in the air and get it to go.
Picks up a cheap foul. That's his second. He picked up his third on that dead ball tech with about 2 minutes and 30 seconds left on Sunday in the first half, and picked up his fourth early in the second half. And you got to keep in mind, the first 16 minutes of that game, Mizzou was right there. They actually had a 2-point lead versus Kansas. It was 23-21. And then over the span of the next 8 minutes, they went from up 2 to down 18. That game was really won on the last 4 of the first half and the first 4 of the second half for Kansas. So that's the point of emphasis going forward from Missouri. To finish half strong and close them strong. Or should they start them strong, too. Yates with a tough turnaround. He's got 10 points. He is perfect from the field. Not look like a 3-16. You gotta remember the schedule, almost exclusively road games, and that's going to continue for just about the next month. They will be battle tested by the time they get to SWAC play. Robinson lost it. Regathers, and his soft touch on these mid-range twos has been prevalent over the last couple minutes.
Absolutely. I was just going to say earlier, both teams have knocked down some impressive mid-range jump shots. Cam Palesi, specifically in Alabama State, has done a good job of getting to his spots in the mid-range. Hasn't knocked down a ton, but again, all of them have been pretty decent shots.
Anderson feeds King down low. King, great footwork, and finishes it right through Jacob Cruz.
Both teams just kind of trading buckets right now. Came out of the locker room at the half. A lot of intensity, a lot of energy on the defensive end. It's created some offense for both of these teams. Still just a 12-point game.
King with 3 fouls. Only 3 of his last 11 of his last 3 games. It was his first bucket of this night. Northweather turns it over.
Northweather had a much smaller guy on him. Should have been a little bit more patient there.
Marion Yates. Leslie got his hands on the rebound, but couldn't hang on. Just a 12-point game, though. Strong start to the second half for Alabama State. We talked about coming in Micah Simpson and Ajon Anderson in this backcourt that could potentially guide this team back to a SWAC championship. I mean, they're both top 5 in the league in scoring right now. 2 guys who have taken an incredible step forward from what they did last year. Simpson with this team and Anderson with Queens. But I mean, you can't expect guys to come in and perform this well, but they have.
Massive, massive jumps. And both of them, you can tell, are natural scorers at heart. Anderson, before his time at Queens, was at Rangers Junior College, where he averaged 20 points a game. And Micah Simpson had a 30-point game last season versus Air Force. So these guys have always been capable of it, but very helpful for Coach Madlock on his team that they have exploded this season.
Weather straight away. Stay right here, though. T.O. Parrott. Mitchell skirts the baseline and jams it home with 2 hands. He's got 15 to lead Mizzou.
Almost unstoppable. I mean, they threw a bit of a double team at him on the baseline there. Alabama State's just tried to throw some different looks at him. Quick double teams, trying not to let him catch in the paint, but he has proved to be unstoppable so far.
Anderson's had a ton of the ball on this side. Kicks it out to Yates, who nails a 3.
Yates just having a heck of a game right now. Shooting the ball at a very high clip. I believe he's 3 for 4 from outside of the arc.
He's got 13. Yates, who only 3 points a game over his last 5, coming in. The rebuttal, though, canned by Jacob Cruz.
He's been real quiet since the very beginning. He plays his part well. Comes in, knows what he needs to do, finds the open areas on the court, keeps it simple.
Anderson, the high floater, my goodness. Up to 18 points. Jacob Cruz from way downtown. It's only his second miss in 7 attempts from the floor. They've all been from 3. Simpson with the blow by, then hesitates in the air. Hits it right back, lets it fly, and bullseye on a 3. It's a single-digit deficit now for Alabama State, and they are starting to rip the nylon from distance consistently.
Something that
just a 9-point game. Neither team can miss. Jacob Cruz with his 5th 3 of the day. And then Micah Simpson, not to be denied, on the opposite end.
To be honest, Missouri got off to a really hot start, and that's the reason they're maintaining this lead. But for the majority of this game, I would say it's been pretty evenly balanced from an offensive perspective.
An extended pressure look in the backcourt again from the Hornets, and 10 seconds gone by, and Missouri hasn't really gotten into any kind of offense. Sebastian back out there. Only played 8 minutes in that first half. His minutes have been way down over the last week plus now. Robinson lost it for a second, loses it out of bounds. Doesn't matter, it's a shot clock violation, and what a stand from Alabama State.
Yeah, and that's right out of a timeout, too. The Tigers almost looked like no one was even aware that the shot clock was running down. They've got to keep that focus in tight. It's a close game, right out of a timeout. You would hope to see a little bit better execution there, but you can tell Alabama State is playing with a sense of confidence right now in the way that they're getting into the Tigers on defense.
Confidence is flowing for this offense, shooting 53% from the floor. Hit their last 3 shots. Anderson's been a wrecking ball. Pulls up from the mid-range. It's way short. And a foul against Alabama State underneath the bucket.
Tigers on that last possession did a good job of going over that screen, kind of forcing Anderson into a rush mid-range jump shot there. Really good defensive adjustment, not letting him get either an easy step back 3 behind the 3-point line, not able to let him probe and find the rolling post player. So really good job there on defense going over that screen.
What's the plan right now for Mizzou offensively coming out of the shot clock violation?
Yeah, I think they've got to attack hard and get to the free throw line, allow their defense to turn into offense, maybe get a steal or 2, get out in transition, or run more of a explicit intentional play for a certain player, maybe get a 3-point shot. But I think it really comes down to attacking the basket, putting the pressure on the Hornets, and getting to the free throw line a few more times.
Great tip in there from Luke Northweather. Gets the lead back up to double figures. The offensive glass has ultimately doomed Alabama State on Sunday. Out-rebounded on the offensive glass 20-8 by the Skyhawks. This possession not really going anywhere. It's under 5. Yates back out, Simpson. Shot clock violation on this side. was always going to be a strength for them in this matchup. They have made it count. That's been the route to efficiency. The wide open threes. Where they're shooting 50% and the looks in the paint. This right now is still within striking distance for an Alabama State team. As we've seen, they can connect on a few threes quickly and really trim a deficit. Good spin there from Sebastian Mack. Mid-range game, strong.
Tigers needed that one. They needed a quick bucket, but what they haven't been able to do after they score is get consecutive stops. And Alabama State is really capitalizing on that, recognizing that they won't ever be out of this game unless if they can continue to respond on offense.
Tyler Bird trying to do it all himself. And that's a couple trips down the floor in a row with air balls on tough looks. But that was contacted, so it will stay here. Shot clock at 8. Yates hits the bench, stand back in. Very vocal Madlock on the sideline. Simpson, tough runner. This is what you talked about. Mizzou getting a bucket, getting a couple of stops, and they add on now. Simpson got his hand in there with the denial, so stays here. Shot clock at 20.
Missouri's just got to stay disciplined right now, both offensively and defensively. No need to rush. Continue to make the right passes, play with pace, and just stay disciplined.
Robinson turning the corner. Gets the bucket to go, and a chance to convert the old-fashioned three-point play.
Robinson noticed immediately that there was that switch on the high screen there. Attacked the post player, doing what Coach Gates wants him to do and get to that free throw line. Noticed that he may have had a speed advantage here. Quick little hesitation, head fake, and attacks it hard. Exactly what Coach Dennis Gates is looking for.
And a 7-0 run. Robinson now 4 of 5 from the free throw line. He's got 14 points. Mizzou up to 70. The lead has blossomed back to 16. Scoreless in over 3 minutes for Alabama State. Stand back. Great layup, but Mason missed the dunk.
That would have been a perfect press break right
there. Robinson back out. Northweather with the shot fake. Maybe a little too unselfish. T.O. Barrett sachets his way in, lays it up. Sebastian Mack contorts his body and finishes with the offhand.
As beautiful of a pass as that was by T.O. Barrett, Sebastian Mack really created that play for himself. He made the exact right movement at the exact right time to get himself a bucket there.
Just when the Hornets were inching closer, they had it down to 9. It's back up to 18. A 9-0 run. T.O. Barrett, the hesitation, the blow-by, and then the great find as guard finds another guard underneath the bucket. I mean, what a pass this is.
It's beautiful. They're continuing to rack up these assists, and it's not only the guards who are making the passes, but the person receiving the passes all night long has been doing such a great job of reading the defense and understanding where they're supposed to go when their guard is driving to the basket. Both the wings and the post players have done such a good job with that spacing.
9-0 run. The Tigers have hit their last 4 shots. What does Alabama State have to do right offensively? Because all of a sudden, kind of out of nowhere, they're stuck in the mud.
Yeah, Alabama State is a leading contender in the nation as far as steals per game. They're averaging a little bit more than 9 steals a game, and I think right now they've got to hang their hat on what they do well. They've really got to make Missouri uncomfortable on defense and turn that into offense.
Nothing going towards the rim on this possession. John Anderson with the crossover. T.O. Barrett hounding him and whistle for the foul. Just got a little too tight.
A little too handsy there at the end. Really good defense, just a little bit too much contact. Anderson does a great job of handling the ball under that pressure.
That is Barrett's second foul. There's nobody with 3 for Missouri. King is the only man with more than one for Alabama State. He does have 4, though. He's not been out there too long tonight. We're seeing Tyler Mason on the floor right now. Simpson off the curl. That was halfway down. Stays here, though. That was so close to a big moment for a team that hasn't scored in almost 4.5 minutes.
Simpson's been relatively quiet tonight, but had a really timely bucket just a couple minutes ago.
Anderson, oh, he just is unstoppable from that distance.
I don't think he's shot a ton of threes inside the Tiger logo almost. They've all been so deep.
30% shooter from 3 on the season. He's 5 of 9 tonight, a couple from about the logo. Tyler Bird, no good on the runner. Second chance denied, but a foul against Anthony Robinson. And free throws for Aquarius Standback. And it just feels like what Alabama State really needs a bucket. I mean, Ajon Anderson is the man they go to.
Absolutely. And the best way to get yourself back into a game and to lessen that lead is the other team turning the ball over and the other team fouling. And the last couple possessions, that's what Missouri's gotten themselves into. Both teams have done an incredible job of keeping the turnovers relatively low. But as we near the end of this game, that's going to be very integral for Missouri to keep the ball in their hands and not turn the ball over.
Aquarius Standback, one of the 2 starters that are redshirt freshmen for this team. He struggled from the line this year. He's 13 of 20. Had a very quiet game offensively for a player who gets about 8 points a game. Very young, only turned 19 a few months ago. Nine turnovers for Missouri so far. They're -3 in that department. There's the 10, and Bird cashes in.
Exactly what I was waiting to see from Alabama State. I knew it would be coming at some point. They have the ability to do this and to play defense like this in a full court manner, honestly, the entire game. But I knew it was going to come out eventually, and Tigers are going to have to stay composed.
It's not a team that goes too deep into the bench, especially with the injury to Walker so far. Throughout the first 10 games, they only play about 9 guys. But they got some dudes with big motors on the floor. Less than 8 to play. We take another timeout here from Mizzou Arena.
Getting to the free throw line, this is exactly what Alabama State needs to do, and exactly at this time. Being down 18 with 8 minutes left versus 12 it feels a lot different.
12 of 23 from the perimeter tonight for Alabama State. That's why they've been able to eat into what was an 18-point deficit just a short while ago. Shot clock winding down. And a good, strong rebound for Tyler Bird. 12-point game. Chance to potentially make it down to single digits again. They got it down to 9, and it quickly went back up to 18. Anderson leading the way with 21. Bird rises and hits the jumper. He's got 8.
It's a pretty high degree of difficulty on that shot there, just because it's a deep mid-range, well contested. Everything kind of going the Hornets' way right now. Missouri's had a couple empty possessions here recently.
All of a sudden, it's a little quiet in here. Theo Barrett looks inside, right through the hands of Mark Mitchell. Turnover number 11 for Missouri as Phillips and Cruz check in for Northweather and Barrett. Only 6 turnovers for Alabama State tonight on the road. I mean, this is where they're making a living on the road, so they're very used to playing in a setting just like this.
Totally, it's interesting. I'd be curious to ask Coach Madlock if he even thinks his team sees away games as a disadvantage anymore. They're just so used to it. 6 turnovers is very impressive.
Mason with the offhand. He's missed a couple of bunnies in this half. And I'm sure they're probably thinking, hey, we look around and we're normally used to seeing black and gold. So this just feels like we're maybe right back at home.
Exactly.
Mack gets downhill all the way in. Left it short, though. Just the 3rd rebound for Standback. Anderson going all the way in the other way. High off the window. No, Mason there swirls around and down.
Missouri's got to stick to the fundamentals, get box outs, secure the rebounds, hit their free throws, just do all the simple things correctly. Take good shots. You don't necessarily want to take a shot real early in the shot clock right now. The clock is your friend.
Hornets playing the zone. It's a 10-0 run, the biggest run of the night so far for Alabama State. Phillips skips it across. Mack thought about it. Tough fadeaway, too. And again, plucked out of the air by Bird. Looking to add to this massive run. A good closeout. A quick one from Anthony Robinson. As Honor Boateng will replace Sebastian Mack after that missed field goal. And this is the defense we've all grown to know for Anthony Robinson.
Yeah, that was an important block. A really good job of getting back on the ball there. Anderson knocks that down. I mean, this game feels even more different.
Dangerous pass. Robinson gets his hands in there, takes it away. Anthony Robinson sachets all the way in and scoops it home.
Really nifty little move there. Not quite a Euro step, but similar to it. Just such a crafty player, and Anthony Robinson has come alive at the right time in a lot of these games.
That's an unacceptable turnover if you're Tony Madlock and company on an inbounds. To give it away out towards midcourt and really just fault Robinson forward. Bird, big answer for Alabama State, right back down to 7.
He's having a huge game, really kind of picking up offensively. Simpson hasn't had the game that he's normally had, Micah Simpson number 2, so Bird just really stepping up right now, filling that gap.
Up to 11 points, had a team high 15 on Sunday. There's a lob blocked away. That was Bird at 6'3" that came out of nowhere. He is whistled for the foul. But a couple of big moments. Anthony Robinson able to end the run and the drought at the same time with a little teardrop. Then Tyler Bird, the junior from Memphis, the Northeast Mississippi transfer. Bench loving it. There's only 4:35 left, and they have made this a close game. A precarious 7-point lead with Phillips at the line. He's there for the first time. 7 points, 4 rebounds. He's a guy who's averaging less than 4 rebounds a game over his last 3, despite being 7 feet and one of the best athletes at that size in the conference. Only 45% on the year, makes one, misses the next, but Jacob Cruz with his first 2-point field goal attempt of the night.
And that was just way too easy. Coach Madlock, you can see his face there, was not happy with that. You don't see that every day. Jacob Cruz is not usually one to get in there and fight for offensive boards.
His last field goal attempt was out by the logo. It was his 7th 3-point attempt. This time it was a layup off a free throw miss. Back up to double digits. Extending this zone look. Stand back. Tough shot.
Yeah, Stanback was the open man there. There was kind of they were in a zone, the Tigers. There was a little bit of a double team going on between Cruz and Boateng, I believe, which left Stanback wide open in the middle. Really good job of his guard finding him.
Good footwork from Stanback, cutting off the driving lane. Mitchell gets a touch in the paint, kicks it back out. Cruz, corner pocket, bullseye. Cruz up to 20.
Very, very important shot for the Tigers. Jacob Cruz, he can hit him from anywhere on the court. He was deep in that corner, but the Tigers needed that one bad for a little bit more breathing room.
A great run for Jacob Cruz on mop-up duty off the missed Phillips free throw, and then he comes right back and sticks another 3. He's got 6 tonight. The money man, Jacob Cruz. Field champs, and then at Kentucky is a very tall task, and they're hoping to get Jaden Stone back somewhere around then.
That would be very helpful to get Jaden Stone back. Things are going to get really real for the Tigers. They had a tough Notre Dame, a tough Kansas. They could have the opportunity to interconference play 11-2 if they finish this one out. But again, once January comes, there's no looking back.
This one has been more arduous than you would have predicted. The lead at 11. King playing with those 4 fouls. Difficult pass out to the top. Anderson's got 21 for Gratuitous bounce across the King. Got to get it up. Walled off by Phillips. Shot clock violation.
Really good job by the Tigers of recovering there. They almost got beat on that screen. I thought Anthony Robinson stayed around a little bit too long on the double, but really good recoveries you can see here. Just a good job of Sean Phillips going straight up and down with some help there from Mark Mitchell. Uses that size to his advantage.
Mizzou is 37-1 under Dennis Gaines when they shoot at least 50% from the floor. That field goal percentage sits at 67. Mitchell spinning, trying to work his way in and use his body. Off it short, stand back there again. There's still time to mount a rally. Simpson, it hasn't been his night. Gets his man in the air, though, kicks it out to Palesi. It'll stay here. That felt like potentially a big shot for Palesi, who only attempting a three for the second time, but 7 of his last 14 from distance entering today. Simpson hesitates, drives all the way in and scoops it in.
Simpson, again, relatively quiet tonight, but he seems to make the right play and hit the shot when it counts the most. Again, under double digits. He got them to under double digits about 5 minutes ago.
Just 6'2", the guard in amongst the trees, created enough space to finish that home. 9-point game with less than 2 to play. Great anticipation there from Marshawn King. Robinson off the screen, step back, fadeaway three, banks it home!
What a dagger for the Hornets. Anthony Robinson hasn't contributed much from outside of the arc at all tonight, and maybe the most untimely three the Hornets can experience off the glass like that.
Up to 19 points. Floater off the mark from Palesi. Followed up by Stanback, though. Anderson all the way in. He's too strong. Phillips not to be denied. .60 seconds to go. Robinson sitting on 19 points. Connor Boateng lets it rip. Chance to leak out here for Anderson. It's him versus Robinson, and he connects. Anderson up to 23 points. Came in averaging 18. You can just tell that this kid is going to be one of, if not the leading scorer in the SWAC this year. Came in 4th.
Oh, absolutely, and he's got such a motor. I mean, he hasn't slowed down since tip, and you can tell he's kind of the heart and soul of this team, the way that he leads and communicates, his composure that he shows. You can tell he's a vet. Anderson, just such an incredible addition to this team when they needed him most.
You might see them look at this Anthony Robinson 3, because it went down as a 3 following the live stats. It was a 2 in-house, though, and clearly a step-back 3. So it will be a 10-point lead and not a 9-point one. There's the signal from Olandis Poole. But for Robinson, 19 points for a man who came in struggling, and they are still looking at this. That 3 motion was just to say that they were looking at the potential 3, but Robinson averaging less than 5 points a game over the last 2 weeks, and he's really exploded tonight.
He sure has, and 7 of 11 from the floor, just 1 turnover. He's played almost the entire game. It's almost the most impressive stat of the night. 1 turnover, 37 minutes. He's shot it well from the free throw line, 80% here tonight. So massive improvement from Anthony Robinson. Coach Gates has been looking for that. It's so important for this Missouri Tigers team for Anthony Robinson to play well. When he plays well, it kind of flows to the entire team. He helps get his teammates involved. It helps players like Mark Mitchell. It helps players like Jacob Cruz when Anthony Robinson's being aggressive and knocking down those shots. So he had a lot to do with this win here tonight. We've talked a lot about Cruz and Mitchell, but Robinson has been very important.
Robinson's got 5 assists to lead the team tonight, had 6 to lead the squad on Sunday. And maybe not the intention when you let it fly, but got the job done.
Absolutely. 3 points is 3 points.
So there's the announcement over the PA system. It will be a 3, so it is 83-73. The Tigers team that averages 87.4 points a game. Alabama State likes to run up and down the floor, too. I mean, they're top 25 in the country in fast break points. Only 9 tonight so far. They average about 18, double that. 73 today. They average about 79.5. They look like they will fall to 3-7 and drop a 4th straight. But what a gutsy effort from them, especially after they gave up the 15-0 run. They're down 18. They made Mizzou have to grind this out. Robinson was 4 of 5 from the free throw line. Will go back to the charity stripe. I had 1 foul to give. That is number 6. So we need to hack him one more time to get the 1-1.
Max, what I think is most impressive right now about Alabama State's performance and the fact that they've stayed relatively close this entire game is a lot of people may look at the score from the outside and assume, oh, Missouri must have played awful, but that's just not the case. You know, I think that Missouri has had a really good offensive night, but the Hornets have just really matched them in many different aspects and have never quite been out of the game despite Missouri's shooting.
Stand back with his 2nd foul, and that is number 7 on the team. The Alabama State team that is back on the road like we talked about the rest of the month. So look at what they've done versus Power 4 teams. This will be the tightest matchup they've had so far, but they did have a really close game at New Mexico where they led by 15, lost 93-87. At Cincinnati, then at Memphis. It'll be a big game for their head coach because that's his former stomping ground. Stand back, turns and faces. Great interior pocket pass. And Arshawn King gets just his 2nd bucket. And a quick foul. So from the free throw line, this was a huge point of emphasis entering today for Coach Gates, and it really has been throughout the season. Remember, they were 10 for 21 at Howard to debut the year. They were only 11 of 21 last game on Sunday. So far tonight, 9 of 14. That's only 64% for a team that entered today having missed 80 already on the season through 10 games. Tito Barrett, 7 for 9 on the year now.
Good job of Barrett being able to step up when it matters. Doesn't shoot a ton of free throws.
The emphasis was make more free throws than the opposition attempts. That is make number 11. Alabama State has shot 10 tonight.
There you go. If that holds out, Coach Gates got what he wanted maybe for the first time this year, or something that they can hopefully build on.
Maybe not how he wanted it exactly, because they're still shooting under 70% clip. But that is the result he wanted. All the way in. Simpson took a hard fall into the contest from Phillips. Gotta hope he is okay. Hopefully he landed on his tailbone. Micah Simpson has not had his best night. Just 8 points for a man who came in averaging about 17 preseason second-teamer Old Swag. But that is one tough kid. I'll tell you, I'm really looking forward to seeing Tony Madlock's team the rest of the year once they get to conference play. It's difficult to put, you know, a tough non-conference slate and record in the rear view and just forget about it. They're going to move to 3-7. They've learned a lot. They've showcased a lot. And I think they can look back at tonight and see lengthy stretches where they held their own tit for tat against a very good Mizzou team on the road.
I completely agree. And they've had a couple games this season where they were actually leading at the half. Arguably should have won the game. But Alabama State has no reason to not go into conference play extremely confident.
Dennis Gates will use a timeout here. He's got one left. So Mizzou will move to 9-2. We told you who they have coming up in Bethune-Cookman over the weekend on Sunday. The look ahead for Alabama State here. I mean, first off, What sticks out immediately is all these acts that are there. It's 5 more road games consecutively. Those bottom 2 are conference games. And the 3 prior to close out the month, Cincinnati, Memphis, Mississippi State. I mean, it doesn't get any easier for this team, and that's been the case all November and December.
It doesn't, and that's the thing with HBCUs specifically. You know, mid-majors a lot of times, but especially HBCUs, they know what it is. They know what the deal is. They've got to play those games. They've got to be on the road. Coach Tony Madlock told us before the game, he likes to do things in such a way, he likes to be able to do certain things for his team that requires having to go out and play these teams, you know, for funding purposes, for experience purposes, and they embrace it. You can tell these guys embrace it. They have fun together, they bond, and more than anything, it really, really prepares them for conference play when things matter the most.
Their lone home game so far was against Virginia Lynchburg. It came on November 14th. Their next home game after that is January 10th. It's almost 2 months away from Montgomery, Alabama. Mizzou could salt away the clock. 85-77. The Tigers are going to win this one by 8. They're back in the win column following consecutive losses. It's tighter than they would have liked it, but the offense was right back where they wanted and where it had been over the last 7 games at home, especially 65% shooting from the floor, 8 of 16 from deep, and Mizzou moves tonight at 2 with the win.
Really well-balanced, well-rounded effort by the Tigers. Great showing from Mark Mitchell, Anthony Robinson, T.O. Barrett, Jacob Cruz, the entire team making an incredible improvement from this weekend, set themselves up for a really good end of December.
Both teams with 4 players at double figures. A'Shawn Anderson led everybody with 23, but Jacob Cruz and his 6 threes, a big spark for Mizzou in his first start since March of 2024. So for my partner Jordan Roundtree and our entire production team here from Mizzou Arena, I'm Max Toll. Say it's so long from Como, where the Tigers take down the Hornets in this matchup between the NCC and the SWAC. It's the Tigers that come out victorious.